Hello and welcome to Kittick Farms. We're back with another episode of Flint Hills by JS Mapping, and we're picking up where we left off last time, which is sorting out the last of this corn grain and getting ready to fast forward here the next day and see what's going to happen with these soybeans. Now I've backed this grain cart in and filled it up to get our dryer going again. Because we've just got an absolutely large amount of wet corn there that still needs to get moved through this system. And so I think that what we want to do is set up another bag here to store dry corn and just put it into bags for the time being. And we've got the 6R over here all hooked up to the bagger. We just got to go pick up an actual bag real quick and get that all set up. Alright, so we've got a bag here and we're just going to try and line it up as close as we can here to the other ones. I think somewhere right in here should work. So that looks like it's working. I'm going to pull this ahead just a smidge so it lines up nicely. And let's get this guy unloading here. And I'm just noticing that bag looks like it might be slightly crooked. And so I'm going to pull forward here a little bit and see if I can back it in a little bit straighter, just the way that this works here. It's going to be better if it's going straight now. It's going to be really hard to move a little bit later on. I think that's looking good. I think this is going to take about 3 loads to fill this bag, so we're going to go ahead and get it filled up here. Let that run through, and it's kind of cool that we could fill that hopper up on that bagger and it keeps filling the bag even though we're all done. A little bit of buffer capacity there. But what we're going to do is go ahead and just fill one more of these bags completely here. So I think that's going to be 2 more loads with this trailer. And then we'll hopefully have enough room in our capacity here to maybe not hold all of this, but at least get some of this stuff emptied out, our trucks especially, so that we can either start in on bean harvest, or at a minimum we're going to need them emptied out so we can start selling dry corn here in a little bit. And so let's go ahead and get this filling and go take a look at these beans real quick, and I'll show you guys why I think we're not going to see harvest on these beans. So they're in not a very good growth state, and if we use our tool here, we're only at 33% growth, and so I'm not sure what happened to these soybeans this year, but they did not grow. And so I am 90% sure that those are going to wither here before we get a chance to harvest them. And so we're going to get these 2 carts filled out and have that bag be full, and then we'll advance time and see what happens. Alright, we're filling out this 3rd bag here. This trip should cover it. We're pretty close there. It looks like we're rubbing up against this other bag though, so hopefully that doesn't cause any grief with the whole physics thing here. Sometimes stuff like that can cause things to go a little bit crazy, but it looks like there's no collisions on these bags technically, so I'm gonna ignore that for now and hope everything works out here. So we did manage to get the grain cart empty. I think there's probably gonna be a little bit left in that bagger when we're done, but that's okay. We can deal with that a little bit later here. We'll probably end up getting another bag at some point, as I don't know how else we're gonna finish getting the rest of this corn processed. But what we're going to do now is pull this other semi around here that's partially emptied already and see how much of this we're going to be able to get into the wet capacity that we freed up. And then we're going to advance the clock here and see what happens. Well, we didn't get all of it in there, but we got a good chunk of it. And that gives me confidence that The grain dryer setup here is going to continue to run while we move the time forward, so we're going to jump ahead here to the next day and see what happens. And there you have it, folks. It is gone. Our entire field is disappeared. We are now officially at 0%. If we come in here and take a look at the growth, everything shows as harvested, which I think is a little odd. I would have expected that to at least show as like withered, but they're gone. We've got no soybeans in this field, and I am pretty sure that's going to be the case here for our other field as well. And so with that, I think what we're going to do is go ahead and advance time forward here until we get to day 3 of winter, and we're able to sell the rest of our corn here and kind of take stock of the financial situation of the farm here. And as long as we're up here, we might as well get all of our corn dumped into the wet bins. The dryer did run all the way to the point where we had enough capacity here, I think, to dump both of these semis. We're about to find out. It's going to be close, 990,000. There we go, 10,000 liters to spare. So we're going to park these 2 semis right over here, because depending on where the best sell point is, we will need to set up some auto drive courses. Alright, we've moved forward one more day, and as usual, we've got to clean up after the pigs a little bit, kind of keep this whole process moving. I'm not convinced that this automatic pig feeder is actually feeding our pigs twice a day. I think it's only doing it once a day, so I'm not sure what's up with that yet. We got to look into that, but we're gonna keep moving along here with our moving the time forward so we can get to the 3rd day of winter, which is usually when the high point for corn is with seasons, or one of the 2 high points. But before we do that, I've come to the realization that we could at least fill both of these trucks up now with dry corn, and that's going to give us the additional dryer capacity to have that keep processing, and we'll also be able to empty out this other grain cart, because I just realized this 9RT is a lease, and it's costing us about 6 grand per day with seasons to keep it around, and so we definitely don't want to keep paying that lease price. But I don't think any of our other tractors are really going to be able to pull that. Maybe the 8960 over here, but with the big triples and stuff on there, I think it's going to be a little bit hard to maneuver if we do need to move that around. So we're just going to get it emptied out here real quick and then return that 9RT. Alright, we've got both semis filled up here, and that's created about 200,000 liters of capacity in our dry bin storage. And so while we run overnight here, that means that the dryer is going to be able to dry that much more corn. And all I want to do is see if we can get this set up in such a way that I can pipe this auger out and unload into our silo system. And with that out of the way, we're ready to move forward to winter day 3 here. Alright, we're in winter day 3, and we got just a little bit of snow overnight. Not enough to really slow us down, but if we take a look at our prices here, dry corn, our high price is Fairbank Co-op, which happens to be the close one, which is super convenient. Alright, so after some shuffling of the trucks and stuff around, and remembering that these semis have these funky turning rear axles, we're going to be a little bit more careful and bring this out here a little bit before we start recording the course. This is going to give us a straighter shot out of the bins before we start turning. And so I'm going to bring it all the way out here, and then I just want to make sure that this is a nice straight path out of our bins before we begin the turn. I think that's going to give us our best chances for success. And so something like that looks pretty good. And then we can just continue to swing pretty wide here. We don't have a lot of stuff in the yard at the moment, but it's always good to stay to the outsides. And we should be able to now. Wow, that's some slip and slide snow. We'll have to straighten that out at some point later, but we should be able to take this all the way up here now to our sell point real quick. We'll have to remember how slippery that is and try not to turn on the snow. I haven't done a whole lot with the snow before. It feels like for whatever reason it just never snows, even though I've got a snowy biome. So this is kind of fun. And kind of making me wish we'd put a snowplow mod of some kind on the server. But it is what it is. And I'm trying to remember that we have, we're going to have 2 semis going. So I want to stay on the side a little bit here and not hog the road. And we are going to come in this way again, even though I think this is technically backwards for the sell point, because I think all the scales are on the other side. And all the displays for the scales are facing the other way. But it is what it is. And then if we come right in here, we're going to unload this corn. And I should be able to actually pull forward enough here to put a target in here. And we're going to call this Fairbank Co-op. And once we get moving here again, we're gonna probably need to drag that forward a little bit. So I'm just trying to get a good line of sight to it here, and we'll just drag this up here past the point a bit. In fact, I'm gonna drag it even more up here, something like that. Give us enough room for our semi to pull forward to that point and have the trailer be over the trigger. And then we're going to make sure we get kind of centered in the scale, hopefully. Don't want any issues with crashing into things here. And we should be able to now just run all the way back up to the farm. And much like on our way down here, we're going to try and stay on the other side of the lane here a bit. Hopefully these 2 trucks will not see each other as collisions. We've got a fair amount of snow on this dirt road here, kind of drifted up in spots, so that's making the driving a little interesting here. I'm hoping once the sun comes up, maybe some of this snow will melt off. We'll see. And ideally, we should be able to bring this right into this other path here. And if I come in here like so and hit stop recording, if we back up here, I think I can just grab this point and hook it up to this point and have auto drive kind of figure everything else out from here. So we're going to go ahead and set this guy to load at the bins, unload at Fairbank Co-op. He's going to do corn. And we're going to lower his speed from 124 down to 50. I find that's a responsible speed here. And we'll turn all these debugging modes off, editing modes, and we'll let this guy go. I have complete faith in auto drive to be able to handle this. It's usually pretty good at this stuff. And so here, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. Let's set this up to Fairbank Co-op. We're unloading corn as well, and we're already set at 50 miles an hour. And so while that guy's going, we've got a full load of corn here. So let's see if we can get him started. It looks like for whatever reason this guy isn't filling up though. And I'm not sure if that's oh, that's because I have picked the wrong item here. What we need to say is that we're selling dry corn, not corn. And so with that selected, it should work out just fine. Let's go ahead and get into our other semi and make the same correction. And I'm thinking he should be alright. I'm hoping he doesn't have to be restarted or anything here. I think it's fine. And with this guy filling again, our dryer is running once again, and so we're really hoping that the dryer can catch up here over the course of the day, and that we're going to be able to sell most of this corn while the prices are high. This is the high point, and so if we look here, I don't see the prices going up or down here right now, so I'm hoping that they stay where they're at here. $28 is a pretty good price. And I'm just a little bit nervous about these trailers because the backs turn with the trailer, and so I'm kind of curious to see if we have a straight enough path here for auto drive. It looks like we do, so I should not have been worried. And so this guy is gonna head on in and sell some corn as well. So I think we're at a point where hopefully these two drivers are gonna just get going on selling this corn, and we're not going to have to babysit it too much. But oh man, look at how slippery that curve was. So we'll definitely have to be careful here. And I'm just kind of curious if these guys are going to be able to pass each other on this road. It looks like it's not going to be a problem. Alright, it looks like we've got these points in the right spot, and we're able to unload our corn. And so I estimate each of these trucks is going to have to make about 9 trips to unload all of the dry corn that we've got stashed up here. So we're going to let them kind of get at it, and we'll check back in here in a little while. Alright, so I just remembered that we've got this little gravity wagon with dry corn in it, which we can't really use for anything. And we need to get this sold as well to get it out of here. And so we're going to go ahead and do that with this pickup here. Now I'm really hoping that we don't have too much of a problem getting it up there with the slippery roads here. But the pickup seems to be pulling it just fine. So we're going to see if we can make it up to the elevator here. Hopefully none of the semis come along and smash into us here, because I think we're going to be going a little bit slower because we're bouncing around here. I'm going to set my cruise control down. I think we're going to probably try to keep this at 45 maybe. That's probably pretty cruising for a setup like this on a snowy dirt road. But it is farm sim after all, so I think we've got it under control. Maybe not. It's a little slippery. Maybe we'll come down to 40. And our other semi just finished unloading, so I've got to keep an eye out for him coming to get back down this road. And I'm suddenly glad we've got kind of the knobbier tires on this pickup. We're getting pretty good traction here. I'm not too worried about it. Looks like that semi bumped into the guardrail over there or something. I saw the tires pop up momentarily. Wow, he is sliding all over the place. Well, let's try to do a little bit better than auto drive here. Oh, I say as we slip and slide right into this sell point. Oh my goodness. Alright, so let's see if we can just unload right in here. This has got a nice speedy unload, so it won't take us but a moment. I'm not too worried about the other semi catching up with us here right now. I think he was a fair amount behind us when we left. He had just started filling up, so we're all good to go. We finally got our gravity wagon emptied out here, which is going to be useful, I think, to fill corn feed for the pigs out of the bags at the appropriate time. But we'll see how it goes. You just never know when you're going to need a nice gravity wagon here to move something around on the farm. And so let's go ahead and get this back up to the bins and check on our overall progress. We're hitting quite the bumps here. We have made quite a bit of money. We're already at $500,000 of corn sold here, which is pretty encouraging. So I'm kind of curious to see where we're at. This gravity wagon's going all over the place, probably because we're going too fast. So we'll slow down a notch here. Alright, we've stored the gravity wagon in the shed over there where we had it before. And let's take a look and see how we're doing from a corn perspective. We are about halfway through the dry capacity right now. We've got 500,000 liters in there of dry, a little bit less now, and 724,000 liters of wet corn that's still drying right now. I'm not too worried about it. We'll actually be able to go and pull some corn out of the bags here. That dry corn that's in the bags we can get set up to unload into our semis here as well. So maybe we'll go ahead and get started on that, since there's only about 4 truckloads left of dry corn in the bins themselves right now. So the first thing we're going to need to be able to do that is this deal, which is going to let us empty our grain bags. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And I think we're going to just grab that with the smaller utility tractor here. And unfortunately, I think we can only hook this up to the same side of the bag as the thing that fills the bags. So we are going to need to disconnect that and move it out of the way. Get some out of there, and then I need to reconnect it and get the rest of the corn out of those hoppers. And so it's going to be kind of a multi-step process here. So let's remember to disconnect the bagger first. We're going to pull it over here, fairly far out of the way, I think. Whoa, it's slippery. We'll leave it there for now. And let's get this unloader going. I can hear the corn already running out of the bag and into this unloader. It looks like the unloader might have a little bit of capacity. The pipe is out, so in theory it should be ready to unload. And so I think what we're gonna do is grab the big gravity wagon here. So I think what we're gonna do is grab the big grain cart with this 8960 and fill up some of the dry corn out of that bag into the grain cart, and then I'll be able to set the grain cart up here in the yard and get the semis filled up a little bit easier, because with how slippery that snow is, I'm a little bit worried about the semis getting stuck in the grass over there. And so it'll be easier to fill them up in the yard, I think. And we're going to use the big one because I think the big one will fill a semi. I can't actually recall here, so we'll go look at that capacity in a second. So the big cart's only 88,000 liters, so it won't quite fill up a semi, because our semis are currently 110,000 liters. But we're going to bring this over here. It is quite slippery and slidey, and I'm a bit worried I'm not going to be able to actually get the end of that auger into this grain cart, but we're going to give it a shot. These triples are pretty wide, and quite honestly, this tractor is sliding all over the place right now, so it's a little bit of a tricky situation to get this grain cart to do anything right now. I think our easiest path is going to be to back it up here I'm kind of surprised that's not unloading right now. I'm going to try and get it a little bit closer here. And we had to pipe out. There we go. Working as intended. And so we're going to just go ahead and fill this guy up. And I think what we need to do is probably also fill that other grain cart that we've got sitting out there up. And so rather than back them both in and out of this, I think what I'm going to do is just put this auger out and do the daisy chain just to get the corn filled up here into both of these grain carts so that we can load a semi here in a little while. Now we should be able to just come up here this way with this one. Load him right under there. And then as usual with this grain cart, we've got to point the snout out, I think. And raise it up just a little bit. Something like that should work. We'll let these two grain carts fill up here real quick and go check on the dryer situation yet again. We are running the clock at 15x now just to keep the dryer going. Because we are down to less than 2 semis in the dry bin capacity, and so we need to get this dryer kick-started and get some more of this wet corn moved over. Alright, so after this truck and the next truck, we should be ready to use our grain carts here to send one, to load one of these trucks. I don't think we'll have enough corn in these two to load more than one truck. Maybe we should get the other grain cart out here as well and just load everything up so that when we are ready to start loading trucks manually, we can do it really quickly. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that, I think, because I believe we've got the other grain cart all hooked up here. It looks like we can probably just squeeze past the combines here and get this grain cart out. So we're gonna do that real quick here. Yep, I can still hear that bag unloading, but we're gonna keep loading up these other grain carts in the meantime, because obviously this is pretty slow. And so I'm glad we're not sitting here with a semi waiting for this. We'll be able to definitely load these trucks faster with the grain carts. And it looks like we've got one more semi coming back here. I can't recall if this is the one we need to start loading or if there's one more to go here. Oh, it looks like there's one more to go here. That guy just finished. And so we'll let this guy go and then we'll start loading semis manually. So in preparation for our manual loading, we're going to bring both of these smaller grain carts over here and get them set up. I'm going to face them in opposite directions here so that we can do the double auger unload. And the idea being that once we pull a truck through here to unload, I can just bring that big grain cart over here because it should be full, and load these two guys right back up. So if we do something like that, I think there's going to be enough room to pull a semi through. We'll be finding out. And we're just about out of corn here. It looks like we're out of corn. And so what I want to do is disconnect this bag, if I can. There we go. And if we pull this thing out of the way for a minute, we're going to hook that hopper back up, because that hopper has, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of dry corn in it still. Yep, we got 360 bushels of dry corn in here still. And so we definitely don't want to lose out on that. Now this snow is super slippery. And so we're going to pull this up here and get it hooked up to a bag one way or another. Alright, it looks like it's loading that bag even though I'm not especially lined up or connected. But that's okay. It makes our life a little bit easier right now with how slippery this is. And I see our other semis coming in here. So what I want to do is just get this 6R pulled up here and out of the way real quick since we're already in it. And then we gotta go grab that semi before he takes off and does anything crazy. And get him unloading from these grain carts instead. So if I come in here and we say stop, open up our covers, I want you to just come right on over here and put yourself into this unload zone. And this should load you up pretty quick. We'll come back and check in just a minute. And the hope is that with this, the other semi that's coming back might actually have enough corn in the dryer to unload, since we are running the clock up here. And at the very least, he should wait in the bins until he is full. And we'll have enough corn here to fill those grain carts back up in the yard and keep the semis going. I could redo the points a little bit to have that semi pull through there, but I'm not particularly interested in messing with it. And I forgot I don't actually have to connect this thing to the bag. And so we are all emptied out here and good to go. And then I'm gonna just put this right onto our second bag while we're here and get it going. And then we'll move that other bag out of the way so that we can actually pull a tractor up here. Alright, let's take the corn that we've got so far in this big Brent grain cart and bring it up here. I think that the semi we were loading is likely full. Man, this is slippery and slidey. And so we'll pull around here on the far side and load into the J&M first, just because that's how we're lined up. And while that's going, let's send this semi on his way. And if we just check on this other semi here, he's already 60% full, and there's plenty of corn in the dry bin to get him going. So I think we've got a pretty nice routine here where I'm going to be able to keep moving this corn with this other grain cart and let one of the semis unload from the bins, and the other one's going to unload from this manual loading setup that we've got. And we'll check back in here in just a little bit. Alright, well, we've gotten to a point here where it's more efficient to let them pull up and unload what the dryer's been able to do and out of the cart at the same time. And so I've got the smaller Brent here set up such that when the semi pulls in and starts unloading from the bin, I put the pipe out and start unloading from it, and then I'm just running the other cart here to bring grain out from the bags to this setup. So it's been working a little bit more efficiently than having to manually control the trucks. And this way they can keep going, and if I happen to not be quite ready to do something, they can still unload directly from the bin, or at least get started unloading from the bin with whatever's been processed there. But we've only got a little over one more truck left in the grain dryer to go, and so that should be done here pretty quickly. We're running out of daylight, but I want to get all of this corn sold before the end of the day here. And so we're going to just keep cranking on it. I've got probably about one more truck over here as well. So I think between what's in the corn dryer and what's over here, we've probably got two more trucks to haul. So we're almost done here. Alright, we've got this big grain cart all emptied out here. And so we're going to go ahead and just park him there. And I think this grain cart's going to be emptied out now as well. And so we've got just a little bit left in this grain cart left to go. Not enough to fill a semi. But with this and what's in the corn dryer, we might just get there. So I'm going to go ahead and put our pipe in just so that he'll pull up and get the little bit out of the grain dryer as we're sitting here. We'll put this 500 bushels in from the grain cart, and then we'll just bump the time up here just a little bit so that we can keep the dryer running. And it looks like we'll have just about 1.5 loads here to get back up to the elevator, and we'll be all done. So with this grain cart also all done and out of the way, we'll run him over here into the yard like the others. Alright, that's gonna be our last full semi going up to the sell point. We've got 35,000 liters here that are still drying, and so we do have the time cranked up. I think we're gonna be able to get that done before the day runs out. So we're just waiting for our other semi to get back up here, and we'll get this last load of corn sold. And the dryer is done. We've got our semi pulling in here. We're gonna have to send him on his way once he gets loaded up here, just because he's not gonna want to go while he's not completely full. And we're just gonna send him on his way. He's 40% full. So the other one's already up there selling right now. And we'll just follow this guy along to the co-op here so that we can see when he's done, see how much corn we've sold, and do some math. Alright, we made it up here to the sell point, but I don't know why we don't have any lights on these trucks when they're running with auto drive, so we're just checking on it here manually ourselves, unloading the last, and that's the last of our corn unloaded here. And so if we hop into the menu here and look, that's $2,091,000, almost $92,000 of corn sold today. And we do have a $1.8 million debt, so if we just pay that off real quick, boom, we've paid that all off and have around just shy of $250,000 in cash left. So not as much as I was anticipating, but honestly, given that our soybeans didn't make it, I think we're probably in a pretty good state here. And so we're gonna go ahead and just turn both of these guys off while we're here. And I think this is gonna be a spot where we're gonna put this series on hold for a little bit. I know that's probably gonna make some people sad, but we've gone through 2 full years here. We've accomplished a lot, and we may do a little bit more on this series at some point. So I'm not gonna say that we're all closed up, but I do have a couple of other things that I've been working on behind the scenes that I want to get started. And so we're going to transition into a new schedule next week. So look for an announcement next week on a formal schedule for the channel. And we'll see how that goes. That's all for today. Ketterk out.